Hey everybody, I hope you guys are all doing okay. Welcome back to our Warlords Battlecry 3 100% playthrough. A couple things before we get going. Excuse me. It occurs to me that I didn't show you my hero's stats at the end of last episode. Partly that was just me forgetting. I do try to make it a practice of mine to show the stats at the end of every episode, just as part of, the wind down of the episode itself, and so I legitimately forgot. But the other part of it was I didn't assume that anything major would have changed, because we only did one off-screen grinding. And by the way, I'll talk about why I did that off-screen grinding in just a moment. But first, let me show you my hero's stats. Much to my surprise... first of all, this isn't even my hero. This is a different hero. As you can see by his name, I've been doing some testing off-screen, off-camera, in between episodes. We'll talk about that as well. There's a lot to talk about before we get going. This is our actual hero. Let me show you his his stats now that I've actually got the correct person selected. His titles, rather. Much to my surprise, we ranked up in the Titans killed category from the small number of Titans that I killed off screen. So I think I killed 6 of them. There was that one match where I had to end it early, but and then I showed you, right, all my towers were on fire because I didn't select the no towers setting, right? So there was that. Then there was the other one that we did properly, right? So I think I killed 3 Titans in one, 3 Titans in the other, or around that number. So 6 there, and then we killed 1 other Titan in the match that we played with, the dwarves as our allies and the plague as our enemies. And so my suspicion is that 125 was the point where we ranked up. I would have thought it would be 150. So one of the rare occasions where it's taken fewer things to get to the next title. Usually I'm surprised at how much longer it's taking than what I'm expecting, especially, with spells and quests. So this is one of the rare ones where it seems like it's actually a bit more lenient. So anyway, we ranked up in that off-screen. We didn't gain any other ranks. One other thing I should mention is that battles fought is going to be slightly higher. It's because some of the testing I had to do had to be with my hero specifically and not the tester hero. And before I get to that, actually, no, I'll mention this before we start today's grinding session, which is why I'm going to start doing a lot of these kill grinding sessions off-screen. But before we... I guess I might as well mention it now, and I'll reiterate later. It's because kill grinding, there's going to be a point in the series where everything else is done, and literally the only thing left is we're going to have, 300,000 enemies left to kill. And and at the rate of about 5,000 enemies per, productive grinding session, that's going to be 60 games. And I'm not going to have 60 episodes where it's you just staring at a custom map that I've built while enemies die and nothing else is happening, right? So that's the kind of thing that I'm prepared to do off-screen. But what I also decided is, even in normal episodes, if I have the extra time, that instead of recording a second episode and, beefing up my backlog, I'll instead spend, an hour, 45 minutes doing a kill grinding session just to get... You'll have to excuse me, I'm a little under the weather right now. But yes, I was gonna say, even when I'm recording normal episodes, if I have the time, I'll try and fit an off-screen kill grinding session in there, just to reduce the amount of kills we'll have to do later on when this is the only thing left. Now, with all of that done, I think it's time to unveil the new map that we made. And let me first show you something. I've got to show you two very important things. And one of them is probably intentional, the other one I'm pretty convinced is a bug. But let's start with the thing that I think is intentional. And if this is excuse me, if this sounds confusing to you, it was even more confusing to me having to figure all of this out with no reference points, no help. Right, so first of all, let's go in here. Ignore this test map. I'll delete it in between episodes. I was just testing. I don't even remember what I was testing. Something to do. Oh yes, no. I built this map to test whether. You know what? We can go into this map. I'll show you this just as a fun. Just as a fun diversion. So if we go into this map, you'll notice that it starts me off with a hostile swamp dragon next to my hero. You might wonder, why would you make a crazy map like that? It's because I just had to test. So what swamp dragons do is they reduce your well, whatever they're attacking, they reduce its armor, and it lasts for the entire rest of that battle. And I was just testing whether that is limited to the battle or whether it ruins your stats forever. And I was able to confirm with this custom map that no, it doesn't last. Your stats are reset at the end of the next. So that was that test map. Entirely irrelevant to today's episode, but I just figured, you know, I'd show you, right? This is a very representative of the kind of testing that I do when I'm just messing around and not really playing, but, you know, still want to mess around with the game. Now, this is the map that I did create. It's called The Black Hole. And, again, the only thing you have to manually select is the difficulty level of the AI, and you have to manually select tough towers. It's possible that you don't have to do this, and I'll explain this when I talk more about the two unusual or surprising things that I discovered. First of all, let's just go into this map, and I'm not gonna worry about the strength of the enemy AI just yet. Right, for now, we're just gonna go in and take a look at the stats on these towers, right? Combat of 30, speed of 3, damage of 181, range of 17, and note two things in particular. The hit points on the tower, which is 820, and the speed, which is 3. Now, let's resign, and let's go again with our actual hero. And now let's go back into the black hole. I'll talk more about why I gave it that name, although some of it you can, you know, your imagination can fill in the blanks for now. But for now, there's a couple of very specific things that I need to show you. Now, when we go in, now look at the stats of the towers. I mean, actually, even the combat and the... I don't remember if the range was lower on the previous towers, but I can tell you for sure the damage is slightly higher. I think it was 181. It's now gone to 195. The speed is higher. It's gone from 3 to 6. Hit points have massively gone up from 820 to 1350. Combat has gone slightly up from 30 to 36. And I think this is intentional because our hero is a much higher level than the test hero. So I think that there's a hidden mechanic in this game where if you select tough towers, the bonuses you get scale off your hero level. And really, you're not going to need towers that are much tougher than this, because they'll kill anything, and they'll, you know, like there's really no point to leveling up your hero purely for the sake of leveling up your because like what even could there be in the game that you would need towers stronger than this for? So that was one of the interesting things that I discovered. The other thing that is a bug, and it's hard to even explain, but remember how a couple, like in our last grinding session, I noticed that some of our towers stopped functioning properly, right? Like they'd lost their extra speed, they weren't the tough towers that we're looking at right now, and I didn't know why that happened, and I assumed it had to do with selecting the tough towers setting in the editor rather than on the campaign map. As it turns out, that is what did it, but it wasn't working quite the way I thought. What happens is, if you place towers down in the editor, and then you save the map, and then without making any other changes, you play that map, it'll work properly. So what I had done initially was I had just placed the towers down, played a skirmish, and the map went fine. If you then go back into the map, and it doesn't even matter if you make any changes, if you go back into the editor and save again, somehow it'll change something about the towers already on the map that will break something. Something about them will stop working, and the tough towers will no longer apply to them. It's hard to explain because it's such an obscure, such a specific bug that it took me a while to even figure out that this is what was going on. I had a lot of wrong ideas just because of how obscure this is. But the long and the short of it is, right now the towers are working fine because I placed them, and then I saved, and then I left, and then I didn't save again. If I want to make any changes at all to this map, I am going to have to not just make those changes, but replace all of these towers. I'm gonna have to delete them one by one, and then place them back again one by one. Like, it doesn't take long to do, right? Because it's a simple pattern. But if I don't want these towers to break, if I change anything about this map, or even if I save without making any changes, I'm gonna have to... Excuse me, I'm gonna have to put all of these towers down again. So that's a bit of a weird thing, but I wanted to go over it because in case you guys are making custom maps of your own, and if you're relying on these strong towers that you're placing, and you're relying heavily on the tough towers working properly, you need to know this, that at least in version 1.03, without the unofficial patch, this is how it works. I don't know how it works with the unofficial patch. It's possible that this bug isn't there. It's possible that the bug is there, but I know other things about towers are changed in that game, like towers do double damage to heroes, so I don't know if there are other changes to towers as well that could be relevant, but at least version 1.03 without the unofficial patch, this is what's going on. And just something to bear in mind. And for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to resign again, because I don't think I selected the strong AIs for this battle. I'm going to go back into skirmish, and I'm going to finally, at long last, delete our testing hero, because he's no longer needed for now. So, farewell, XZC, XZCZC. Must be a, you know, the Eastern European name, I assume. So, you can go away, and we can go back in with Kaz. And we're gonna go into the black hole, and we're gonna see how well this map works. Everything else looks fine. So let's jump in. We gotta manually select the strong AI for all of our enemies. And they are pre-placed into the same team. Alright. And the rest of it looks good to me. So let's dive in. And let's see how this map goes. Now, let's go straight away on very fast. But this is a very minimalist map, right? Now, the previous one I'd put quest buildings, partly because I was still grinding quests, and also because they gave me something to do while I was just waiting for this really long session to play out. And this one, I didn't bother with that. I mean, we've got space to build some rudimentary structures, which we might as well. But the rest of it is literally just we're waiting for our enemies to get the show on the road. One extra change that I'm contemplating is giving my enemies keep level 5 to start out with, so that, just so it speeds up their development a little bit. This guy's gonna get himself killed. Oh no, he's
An enemy hero has been destroyed. An enemy hero has been destroyed.
Well, that's dumb. 4 out of our 5 enemies have gotten themselves killed. This guy was the only one intelligent enough to not do what these guys did. So a couple things about this map. Instead of just 3 enemies, like in our previous one, this one has 5. But as you can see, the fact that something about this map is also something about this map is encouraging these enemy heroes to come at us really early. And maybe that's just something we're gonna have to live with. But I think what's gonna happen is, because this guy, we can't see his stats, but he'll have some charisma, he'll have some merchant bonus. I think they are gonna benefit from his merchant bonus, so he is gonna develop his base quicker than the others, is my prediction. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I've given them enough of a resource bonus that they're not gonna have to worry about it. We'll see. Might as well get our base constructed. There's really nothing to do in this map, which is why any subsequent grinding on this map will be done totally off screen. But just for this first one, I did want to show you how well it works. So, as I mentioned, one key difference was we've got 5 enemies instead of 3.
New buildings are available.
And I'm gonna hope that this means we get a higher kill count in the end, but we'll have to wait until the end to be sure about that. But also, the other thing about this is that it's completely enclosed, right? There are no gaps. In our previous one, I left a bit of a, walking room gap. In this one, I haven't even left that gap. So if I want to collect these items at the end, I'm gonna have to destroy my own towers, which I'm prepared to do, right? If the match has ended, or if, not ended, but if we've gotten to the point where our enemies aren't sending anything at us anymore, then I am fully prepared to just break down my own towers in order to just see what these items are. We'll see about that. One thing I might do later on in this episode, or later on in this battle, once I'm done talking about things, is I'll either skip to the end or I might speed it up, just because it's such a minimalist map that there really isn't that much to do. But I think it is gonna start to get more interesting once our enemies start sending sending people
Research complete.
at us. And one thing I'm hoping is that with a double layer of towers instead of just one layer, as I had previously, that it's gonna mean that I can be purely AFK on this map. That I can start this battle. I don't even need to build stuff. I'm only building stuff just because I'm getting bored. That I can start this battle. I can go for a walk, and I don't have to worry that my Iron Man hero is going to be in any danger. Like, regardless of how many titans or dragons or whatever our enemies send, I want to be completely confident. Now, again, it looks like our enemies are
Research buildings are available.
in need of some encouragement, because only one of our enemies seems to be... Well, hang on. Red finally seems to have woken up. Purple as well. Okay, so I guess they just needed a bit of time. But I was about to, save and load, because sometimes that can get the enemy woken up a little bit. Alright, the double layer of towers does feel like it's working very well. Our enemies look like they have plenty of room to build, and there's enough room between them and our base that their builders aren't going to get close to us. They have access to all of their mines as well. This enemy is building a fortress all the way down over there. Good for him, I guess. And right now, our opponents are still getting their economy going. I think they have to research their trade bonuses, and they also have to put their thralls in mines. And once their economy ramps up, I think is when they can start producing units at a stronger rate. For now, they're sending small trickles of armies in our direction. It does feel a little stagnant. So you know what? I think I am gonna do a quick save and load. And having done this, we'll see some of these armies abruptly start to move, I do believe. And they'll be big enough that we'll be able to see them on the map. Doesn't seem to be... Okay, here we go. Here's a bunch of eagles. There's somebody moving. Oh, he's gonna get his hero killed. Well...
An enemy hero has been destroyed.
I guess I did kind of ask for it. I'm still in the process of evaluating how well this map is working. Okay, so all 5 of our enemy heroes have bravely killed themselves in this exact corner of the map, in this exact corner of our base, like outside this corner of our base rather. And here we go. Here's something. And here is something. Here come the dragons. But what's the matter with Blue? He's not doing anything. What is the deal with this guy? What is the deal with this guy? Are we gonna have to save and load again? Let's try one more.
A titan walks the earth.
Okay, here we go. There's our first titan. From who exactly? They're all gonna build their titans, so we don't really need to like track each individual one down. But it was Purple who built the first titan. Right, so let's save and load again. 'Cause I really want to encourage Blue to, you know, join in the action. Because he's missing out. He's really missing out.
Beware, a titan walks
Okay,
the earth.
the guys seem to be moving a little bit. And another titan is on the battlefield. What is Blue doing? There we go. I knew that with the right encouragement, he too would.
Beware, a titan walks the earth.
There we go. So now it's going to say that our base is under attack. Or maybe we were too close to the screen. Right, I'm not going to repair any of my towers. I'm just going to wait until the end of this match, and I'm going to see what level of damage they have endured. But I think it's going to be fine. You know, might as well keep doing that. Yeah, go ahead and do that. Not sure why that guy is just standing there waiting for some cue that's, you know, gotten lost somewhere along the way.
Your buildings are under attack.
Yeah, here we go. Again, I'm not going to repair it. So, 2 titans in this exact spot, and their novas are what did this damage.
Research complete.
I guess this is what prevents it from being a truly AFK thing is
New buildings are available.
occasionally the enemy will just become stalled, and you'll need to shake him loose by saving and loading the game. Oh! They're coming our way and then they just went somewhere else. Now they're coming our way. Seems our enemies are
Beware, a titan walks the
fond of coming into this exact spot. And that's, I guess, an important detail in case we want to build dragons for an extra line of defense. We can do that. Don't think it'll really be necessary. We can build the lion throne as well if we really want to.
Beware, your buildings are under attack.
Okay. So far so good.
Research complete.
Alright. Let's...
Upgrade complete.
Let's do another save and load, I think. It's about time. Let's... I thought this attack was gonna come towards us. Maybe it is. It looks like it is. I think these guys are in that weird patrol pattern. Yes. Okay, here's something. But why is this guy just standing still? Is what I want to know. Yeah, so it looks like it is still rough around the edges, but it's mainly having to do with the enemy AI, I think, and not the map itself. Maybe indirectly due to the map itself, because there are more enemies on this map, and so I guess it's increasing the chances that one of them will be bugging out at any given time. Yeah, purple seems to be largely stalled, which I'm not happy about. So let's do a save and load. And I'm getting close to the point where I'm gonna skip to the end. So don't worry about it. I'm not gonna make you sit through this entire thing.
Research complete.
I just wanted to get a sense of how
New armies are available.
this map is gonna play. Alright, I think I have seen enough. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna skip to the end, and I will just let you know excuse me, I will just let you know how it went. Alright? So I will see you. I'm gonna skip now, and I will see you shortly. Okay, I'm taking it off pause briefly because I think I've just had an aha moment. Remember how I told you previously that this base was completely sealed off? Well, I made a bit of a hole in this side with my hero, and that seems to have woken these guys up a little bit. I think what was messing with them at least part of what was messing with them was the fact that there was no pathway inside was kind of
The Emperor is here.
throwing off their AI a little bit.
Mass the troops.
Got the Lion Throne as well. I'm just gonna put you on stand ground mode.
On your knees before the Lion Throne shall brook no insolence.
You can just stand there. And now let me one final time do a save and load. And let's see how this goes. Maybe this is gonna convince these guys to start moving. Doesn't look like it. Yeah, I think this guy is just permanently stuck. I mean, we can... Oh no! Something finally convinced him to start moving. Okay, I think we did kind of have to
What is this?
help them out a little bit by making a bit of a hole in our own defenses. All right, well, I guess that kind of makes sense. And it's another good piece of information to know if you're making one of these maps for your own grinding purposes. That, you know, just leave a bit of a walkway. It'll help the enemy AI a little bit, and also it'll eventually give you a way to go outside and see what items the enemies have dropped. So it'll be fun for that as well. But yes, with that, I think we're gonna go back on pause, and I will be with you when this map is done, or if I have something else noteworthy to show you. Alright? So I'll be with you guys in a bit. Alright, we're almost done with this map. You know what, let me save and load one final time. I'm pretty sure the top 3 enemies have stopped building things altogether. The bottom 2 enemies felt like they were going a lot more slowly. So we'll see if this save load dislodges any of these guys. Some of them are coming. And I'm very tempted to kill this group, this very dense group of enemies. These guys are almost out of metal, but not quite. The top 3 guys are completely out of metal, completely out of gold, and I think running pretty low on crystal as well. All right. Let's see if we can. So one thing I've learned is that these Pegasus units are actually pretty deadly. I've been using these mercenaries to try and lure groups of enemies towards my base to get extra few kills here and there. Oh, don't die, don't die, don't die, don't die, don't... Oh. Well, you brought them close enough that they're getting killed. But you didn't get close to this group, and now they're turning around and going back. Well, good job. We'll try one last time. Sound effects seem to be thoroughly glitched and no longer playing, so don't even worry about that. This isn't, you know, an immersive battle where we're enjoying the medieval fantasy ambiance. This is just for the purposes of grinding and getting our numbers up. Okay. Yeah, they're still building things, because they're not out of metal yet. Oof, these critical hits, man, are literally killing me. Well, they're killing this unit of mine. But you know what? I feel his pain, you know? He's just trying to do his job, and these guys are hitting him. Okay, but now looks like we've unclogged their pipes, so to speak, or at least for that upper group. Still having trouble convincing these lower guys to come join me, but I think maybe this time... Oh, okay, okay, now you need to make it back to the base without dying. There we go. A nice little bonus truckload of kills. Pretty happy about that. There's still some more of them. There are a few over here. There's gonna be little crowds of enemies in a lot of these places, although most of the top enemies have cleared out. It's just the ones in these blue and red areas that are still needing a bit of encouragement. Alright, so let's bring these back. And I'm gonna be very curious to see just how many kills we get out of all of this. We've got 5 enemies on this map. And a Reaver, of course. A Reaver that I didn't notice. I think after I get the attention of this group, I am going to basically just give up on these blue guys. Yeah, nice big group. At least 50 in that group, I would guess. And is this even big enough to worry about? They're still building though. Well, this group is big enough to be significant. Ooh, and looks like they've pretty much entirely cleared out, with only tiny amounts left. Okay, and I think what we're gonna do is, the last thing we'll do is... Huh. These guys have another relatively big group. I was gonna send my hero, well, I'll send him anyway, to investigate what those items were that dropped. Let's go and check those out. That's nothing. Nor is that. Well, hang on, what's this? Is that the Wizard's banner? We've seen that before. And that's the sort of like, okay. Okay, I think we're fine. Yeah, okay, looks like red has now tapped out. What about blue? He's still got some gas in the tank, so to speak. So let's... I mean, this is not an efficient way to do this, but I don't know, like, I see a crowd of enemies, I just want to kill them. Surely he's gonna be out of metal soon. Didn't I build another mercenary? Well, I'll build another one now. And we'll... see, the problem is his armies are kind of all over the map. So let's do a save and load. And if nobody starts moving, then we'll grab like maybe a couple of groups, and then we'll just call this Okay, some of them are moving. A good number of them are moving. Yeah, I think this is gonna be their final thing that they're gonna do. And these guys, let's encourage them to join us as well. And they've got one last crowd. Oh, these Pegasus guys are pretty deadly to these mercenaries anyway. Oh, Reavers are deadly to just about everything. Alright, I think at this point we're just gonna call it good. There's no point trying to squeeze more blood out of this stone. Now this number is gonna be important. 8,000 is a fantastic number. Not just 8,000, but 8,600. Getting towards 9,000. So if 3 enemies give us 5,000, that's around 1,700 per enemy. Then 5 enemies should give us about 8,500, which is what I was hoping for, and that is exactly what we got. That is fantastic. If we keep it at this level, it's gonna reduce the number of farming runs we're gonna have to do, that I'm gonna have to do off screen to max out our title. Before we end though, let's go into the campaign, because there's one other thing that I've made a habit of doing which we haven't done yet, which is I want to do 5 jousts. And we'll get these jousts done, and then we'll look at our titles at the end of the... Oh, at the end of the... At the end of the match. The video, rather. So, in case, I've explained this before, but I guess it bears repeating. In case you're wondering, that thing that I was doing at the beginning of this battle was... I was giving my hero a series of orders by pressing shift. Ordering him to attack one hero, then go straight after the other hero, and then straight after the final hero. And the reason I got frustrated and then did it again was because as I was trying to right-click on the final hero, I instead clicked on the ground next to him. And the reason that wouldn't have worked is because what would have happened is I would have killed this hero, then this hero, then my hero would have walked to this piece of ground before doing his next order. So, like, it's not enough to just then, after clicking, right-clicking on the ground while setting up a series of orders, to then click on your actual target. So you've got to start from the beginning. Because if you have an incorrect order somewhere in the list, it will still be executed. Alright, so that's joust number 1, joust number 2. As I mentioned, the reasons I'm not doing the jousts off screen is because I'm hoping that we get some cool loot. And if we get some cool loot, I would rather it happen on camera rather than off. Moon Shield, I think, is something we've already found. It was a quest reward, but I think we also found it earlier, and then based on that we sold the one we got as our quest reward as well. But no, just to be on the safe side, I will pick up the Moon Shield. That's joust number... There's joust number 2. What's this? Naga skin boots.
You are victorious.
Yes, of course we're victorious. And if you look at our item stash, yeah, indeed, we got rid of the moon shield ages ago. We'll just quickly run over to Syria, to the market, and sell this moon shield. God, what are we gonna do with all these crowns? And we've got to do 3 more jousts in Bartonia. And we've been lucky, we haven't run into any assassins so far.
Your troops are under
As you know, if we run into any assassins, that's an instant restart.
enemy hero.
Just because it would be just too crazy to try and fight assassins properly. Alright. It would be absurd. Like, why would you? I mean, under Ironman conditions. If you're not playing Ironman, then you can do whatever you want. But Ironman, you only have 1 life to live. 1 life to live, 1 life to lose. Why risk it on something so trivial? Alright. Come on. Alright. 2 more jousts, and then we can end things.
You are victorious.
Of course, we're victorious. Uh-huh. Couple more jousts, and then we can call it good. Pyro, Ranger, Sage. Sounds good to me.
Your troops are under attack.
Hopefully... Oh, we...
An enemy hero has been destroyed.
Like, he timed that Ring of Fire. I guess he was targeting something else with it, but we could have gotten hit by that
Enemy hero has been
had we gotten to him a bit quicker. Alright. Alright. Fantastic.
Your hero is under
Are we
attack.
done? Some
An enemy
Joker
has been vanquished.
set our hero on fire. I guess they had some fire magic enchantment on them. There's 2 items down here. Let's see what these are. And then what's this? Plague Sword. Not interested in either of them. And then we'll do our final joust.
You are victorious.
Oh, no, don't want to travel. I want to do 1 final joust. Tinker, Shaman, Chieftain. Nice, easy group.
Your troops are under attack.
And then we can,
An enemy hero.
then we can
An enemy
end this episode, basically. Yeah, there's really nothing else we're gonna do.
An enemy hero has been destroyed.
Alright, looks good so far. And now we just need to see what these items are.
An enemy has been vanquished.
Kazrimi, nope.
An enemy has been vanquished.
Ultimate Cloak of Protection. Resistance and magic resistance. And armor. You know what, I'm actually gonna hold on to that, because that seems like an interesting item. we would lose life, we'd gain resistance and magic resistance. Is that worth it? I'm gonna say probably not, but let's hold on to it for now. Just for now, alright. Before we end off this episode, let's recap what we did. We went into my newly crafted map. I called it the Black Hole. I didn't really explain it, but I guess I'll mention now why I called it the Black Hole. I mean, it's after the concept in physics, you know, a black hole being something so dense that light can't escape. And I came up with this name because I wanted a map with 5 opponents, and the only way I could make that work was if I put myself in the center and the opponents on the side. Because if I tried putting myself in one of the corners, then it caused too many issues in my testing with just the weird pathfinding that enemies were having to do, and and just building their base, it would get too cramped. So I put myself in the center, and then I really liked the look of all of the like on the mini-map more so than the actual you know, the screen where you can only see a part of it, but the mini-map where you can see all of, you know, the units represented as dots, they'd come towards the center of the screen and then they'd just vanish, and I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. And then based on that, I actually made myself the black faction, right? You know, the black colored faction, just to make it even more, you know, thematically appropriate that, you know, it's the black hole. Anyway, that was the name. A bit of a creative flourish on my part, but the main reason it was there was to help us grind kills. We got a really good amount. We can expect to get about 8,500 per map where we fully wait for the enemies to exhaust themselves. And see, this is what I was worried about. We hit 500, but we still have not gained an assassin rank. This is why I have been so insistent on just increasing the rate at which we're killing heroes. But you know what? Whatever the final number is, we're closer to it, so that's good. We also killed another 5 titans on that map. I guess that's the other good thing about the new farming map, is that you can slowly accumulate titan kills as well. Although in my subsequent farming, I might limit it to keep level 4, because I did notice some of my the towers had gotten pretty beat up by the end of it, and I don't want to take any risks. Other than that, we didn't gain any ranks this episode. The only rank we gained was the one we actually gained last episode, but which I forgot to show, was for Titans killed. I was really expecting we'd get something for this, but I guess we've got a lot left to do. But anyway, I think that is going to be all for this one. Another unusual episode. I mean, any farming episode is going to feel weird, but we just have to get used to it. Eventually, I'll do most of the farming off screen, but for now, you know, we've just got to get through it. But yes, another farming episode done. I do hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. And we did also talk about some interesting mechanics in the beginning of the game. I guess while we're on the subject, I'll show you the glitch that I was talking about. So let me load the meat grinder map, which is our previous farming map. Now let me save it. Let me exit. And now if I go into skirmish, by the way, I didn't add anything, I didn't subtract anything. The map is still the same. Literally all I did was I went in and I saved. Now I'm gonna go in with cause. It doesn't really matter what we do because we're not playing it fully. I'm just showing you the glitch I'm talking about. So now you can see that these towers, which were previously speed 6, damage 195, are now speed 3, damage 180. And that's not, you know, that's not great. However... Oh. What am I... Oh, no, 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 no. I loaded a game... Oh, hang on. I need to quit. Because I loaded a game from a time when we hadn't done that grinding. Okay. God, I hope this isn't gonna ruin anything. Oh god. So our hero is still there. We still have... Okay. Had I persisted with that game that I loaded, it would have reset that the jousting that we did. Anyway, I want to go into the editor now because I want to show you the glitch I was talking about. So I've already shown you that the towers that we previously placed have now been nerfed because they're bugged. But if we add a new tower, an Empire Tower, where is it? Yeah, and let's just throw it there. Select it, make it side 1. Now we save and exit. And now if we go... I know this is taking... But like it's important that you understand how this glitch works. Right, so this is the final thing we'll do, is we will go in and we will see this glitch in action. So these towers are still bugged, they're not as strong as they should be, but this tower that we just placed and then we saved, this one is working fine. This one is speed 6, damage 195, and more hit points as well. However, if we go into the editor again, if we load our map, meat grinder, which we're not using anymore, so I don't mind the towers here getting, you know, nerfed. And if I want to use it again, I'll just place all the towers again. Anyways, and again, I'm not touching this tower. All I'm doing is I'm coming into this scenario, I'm saving, and now I'm leaving. And now if I go back in, rules, tough towers, again. All I did was I went in, I saved the game, and I left. And what do I see? Even this tower, which previously was fine, has now become bugged, and its stats aren't as high as it should be. So yes, that is the glitch in action, and that is an important piece of information for you to know if you're playing on version 1.03 without the unofficial patch. I don't know how the unofficial patch would change this, if at all. But if you are playing this, and if you are creating custom maps for kill farming, just know that the only way you'll be able to get it to work properly is if you place all of your towers and then save, and then never go back to the map in the editor ever again. Or never save it in the editor ever again. Right, so that's all about that. And we got a couple extra battles fought just for going in and out of some of those maps. But anyway, that is going to be all for today's episode. I know we had a bit of a very long intro, very long outro talking about these strange game mechanics and bugs, but they are important to understand, and like the best place for me to put them is in the episode where we're also doing the kill grinding, right? Because it directly relates to that. But anyway, yes, that is going to be all for this episode. Hope you had a good time. Hope you learned something if you're playing this game yourself, and if you're getting, tips and tricks on how to build your own custom maps and how to avoid these bugs. Hope you learned, what I tried. I don't know how well I was able to do it, but I tried to explain it. I hope some of it sunk in. But yes, I hope you learned something, hope you had a good time, and I hope you'll join me for the next episode as well. And until then, take care.